All right, welcome to So tomorrow we are doing our normal show, but I realize this is like every site's been doing like a day two recap. There's a home run derby going on. Some people don't care about that.
Is that going on
Baseball,
right now?
is it?
I thought it was tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow? I don't know.
No, sorry, not to
No,
interrupt your intro.
no, it's okay. Now you got me wondering. Let's see here.
I mean, there were actual baseball games today. They wouldn't have the home run derby today, right?
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's probably tomorrow. No, let's take the Futures game is today, but the Futures game, even though they've marketed that horribly. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
No, it's terrible. You couldn't watch that unless you had NBC Peacock, right? It wasn't streaming online like the draft was. And they've cut it down to 7 innings, and it's annoying. Like, so in the 7th inning, you've got pitchers coming in to face one batter and then leave, and it's just like, this is just dumb. Why are you doing this?
What futures are you promoting?
You're so eager to get the guys off the field so you can do like the celebrity softball game. I don't get it.
I guess Jock Jams, MTV Jock Jams is coming back. I don't really know what's going on. I'm sorry, the way the MLB, I know we're promoting MLB here. We've done like the draft, but then you have the draft. Yesterday during the draft coverage, they were tearing down the set during the stream. What the hell is wrong with you guys?
It was so loud
in
the background. There are a lot of things that you can complain about. I saw, Eric Longenhagen and Fangraphs, they do a live chat during the first round, and it's usually fun because he will load the picks, right? He will announce the picks before they're publicly announced, if he can dig it up. And he said that they tried to get Kylie McDaniel on there with them, and ESPN wouldn't allow it. And then ESPN, but also Kylie McDaniel wasn't at the draft. He was just at home. They wouldn't let him, or like he wasn't part of their draft show. And it's like, this is their draft writer, and they just don't have him. So anyway, just a lot of mismanagement of various draft assets and things like that. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do? But it doesn't mean that we have to stop the train, if you will. As the Tigers finished up day 2 today, Tigers Well sent me the fact that Tigers already look like they're signing Dominic Pelgrin, the shortstop they drafted in the 4th round.
Oh wow, they've already signed him?
Apparently, he's going to be signed.
Oh,
so I'm not sure what that exactly means. It means what it means, but no. Overall, like, it's just we're on both calls today. We'll be reviewing every pick. Yes, we'll be talking about every pick. If you go, so actually we'll be talking more about day 2 than day 1. If you go to our YouTube channel, I did create a playlist of us breaking down each of those first 4 picks. And in this case, because I didn't realize this until I got to give credit to Stan on this, because Stan texted me earlier and he's like, hey, that's 5.5 hours of sorting through things. And it's like, yeah, no, you're right. And I was going to do it anyways, but I was just trying to figure out when. So today I was at the Tigers game against the Phillies, and I was cutting up the first 4 streams, and while also trying to get the graphics up too. And coincidentally, the 3 days off I have this week from work are the 3 days off we have from baseball, and I'm going to do absolutely nothing. Like, I got home today, and I was like just trying to get everything all situated for tonight, and I then immediately just like, I can't stay awake. I'm in bed. It's like out. But thank you for everybody who tuned in yesterday throughout the whole thing, or if just tuned in at all, period, and liking and subscribing. So but yes, we'll be breaking down a lot of day 1 stuff too, but day 2 more importantly tonight. And then tomorrow we'll be saving for our All-Star break show, because technically tomorrow is the All-Star break across the board in the minor leagues and the Tigers. And so with Brandon Day there on, I was like thinking, like, if we had to do the second day draft breakdown, it would be a 2-hour show. I know it. So I don't, just trying to streamline the content better, because people have short attention spans. So moving week for me, just as well for me too, Raj. Yeah, absolutely. Tigers and Lions forever on YouTube. Yeah, that's there's some stuff I got to do in the yard, but then it's like, it's gonna be 90 degrees this week.
I got to mow as well.
Yeah. So yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Chris. But so day 2 overall. Here's the thing: like, we talked about the Tigers need for pitching, and Detroit's like, bet we got you covered, and they did that. They did it quite a bit today, and in grand scheme of things, Chris, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pitchers draft. Is that correct?
I believe so, yeah. 13, I think 10 college, 3 high school pitchers. They didn't go a lot of trend busting things happened in this draft in terms of patterns we've noticed before. Although there's still some of those patterns you see there in terms of they're still really targeting the hit tool. What changed about this year was they were not necessarily, although you see 3 shortstops up top, they were not laser focused on up the middle players because first base, third base, first base, they'd only taken 2 corner players in the previous 3 drafts. And so to do 3 in this one draft is a bit of a departure, but all 3 of those guys can hit. So that was interesting. They also, you could say that this was an opportunistic draft for the Tigers, I guess, or a belief in guys who had down years who will bounce back. You could say that with Cameron Fluke, the first overall pick, but certainly the case with Maddox Maloney, the shortstop from Oregon, and Brady Ballinger, the first baseman from Kansas, who's also, they said, played a little bit of outfield. Both Maloney and Ballinger had really good years last year as sophomores, and not so good years this year. They both came into this year as potential, top 3 round picks, and the Tigers got them in 6th and 7th. So there's some potential value there. So nothing wrong with that.
No, and the biggest takeaway that I had from when Rob Metzler and Mark Connor, spoke today was the athlete portion of it and the duality of kind of thing, and the Chris going for the jugular. Chris was the Jeff Rieger of the presser the last 2 days.
Yeah, both. Did somebody comment that, or are you just saying that?
I'm just saying that. No, I'm just
you could also just say that's me being green and not knowing the things that they're absolutely not going to answer. But I wanted to know if Cameron Fluke was going to pitch this year, and they were like, that's not up to us. And it's true. That's more of a Garco thing. But I thought maybe it would have been discussed. And then I wanted to know if they plan on signing all these guys, because normally, and I'd be shocked if they sign all 3 of these high school pitchers. It wouldn't shock me if they don't sign any of the high school pitchers that they drafted, right? Like, those guys have more options and they may get more money from college. But they said they weren't going to comment on any signability things, which I think they probably can't legally or, whatever, contractually. But also just say it. Just let me know. Just be like, yeah, we hope to sign them all. That's fine. But they didn't, and I get it. But yeah, I some interest, like I said, some interesting value picks, and then some hitterish players, guys who can really hit, which is always fun. And these are guys who might not play up the middle, but that doesn't really matter if they can hit.
Yeah, and the arms they picked too, I really liked a lot, because it seemed like there was a lot of in terms of like strikeout percentages, and as far as that goes, they were able to get and a lot of them also, to me, some of them I thought more or less, some of them could easily be relief arms too right away. Just because based off some of the makeup they have. But we'll start with the first pick on the day 2 is Declan Dahl, who is a pitcher out of Louisiana Tech. And the infamous thing about Louisiana Tech that I know is, did Karl Malone go to Louisiana Tech, or no?
That sounds possible.
Yeah. Hey, Ray. Rays, man. Good to see you, man.
Hey, Reese.
Yeah,
Declan Dahl.
Yeah,
Declan Dahl also did 2 years in Seminole State, Oklahoma. They've gotten
the Oklahoma.
That's another one of the connections that you see is these pitchers from Oklahoma. But he was down at Louisiana Tech, and what's interesting is, and I said it when they drafted him, he kind of reminds me of Charlie Christensen, the guy they drafted in the 15th round last year out of Central Arkansas. And in terms of the low arm slot and unique release traits and a surprisingly good changeup from that arm angle, then you might say, well, that's not great. This fifth rounder reminds you of their 15th rounder, except Charlie Christensen has arguably been the best pitcher from, I mean, it's him and Ben Jacobs, right? From the the pitchers they drafted last year. And Christensen, he got roughed up a little bit in his first high A start, but I think he's 9 innings in his last 2 with maybe 1 run.
Yeah.
And so there's something that I think appealing to them about these kind of release traits. But yeah, I mean, this is a guy that I think they'll probably develop as a starter, and you may be able to squeeze out more velocity. But you could also see somebody like him moving quickly as a reliever if you want to go that route.
Yeah, no, and the thing is, what I like, especially about his makeup here, in terms of competition too, he's faced some really high level competition too. It's not, I know that the Louisiana Tech is not exactly the Big 12 or anything like that, but still, it's a very competitive. He's in terms of who's he's faced, what have you, and so this is him against Mississippi State here.
Yeah, and a lot of strikes too.
Yeah,
a lot of strikes. I'm looking right now, 102 strikeouts against 23 walks in 81 innings. So basically 5-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Yeah, it's a fun first arm to take in the day.
Yeah, and I love the slow-mo here that they do for Perfect Game. It is so sweet, like just total picture face kind of thing, but just consistent.
Then I mean, that's kind of funny right there. That like that's like the handshake, but no, and I'm going to touch the back of my head.
Yeah,
his finish. Here we go. Oh, let me just adjust my hat. Oh no, it was just a repeat. Anyway, yeah, it's an interesting pick.
Yeah,
I like the arm.
Yeah, there's as far as that goes, that was the day that was the first pick on the day 2 of the draft. So we move on to pick number 2, which was Maddox Maloney out of Oregon, and so a lot of people like this pick too. This is a shortstop, a junior out of, and he had an injury issue too, right? As I recall. He got hurt early in the year, like he got hit in the hand or something like that. I was reading up on him a little bit.
I don't know. Yeah, I did not see that, but yeah, it's a guy to Oregon. Again, he was somebody who had a really good sophomore season. I'm looking right now, hit 309 with 15 homers, 25 walks, 34 strikeouts. So like, fairly aggressive, but and not a super high average, but productive. And then this year his batting average dropped to 233, but the strikeout and walk ratio was about the same. And the power output was about the same. So it's kind of like just a bad BABIP luck. I saw somebody, I don't remember who it was, had a tweet about his performance against secondary pitches just fell off a cliff this year, whereas it was great last year. And so, if he did it once, maybe he can do it again. I think I compared him a little bit to John Peck, because John Peck also had a much better sophomore year than junior year. And his under the hood data, the in zone contact and chase rates and stuff were pretty good. And I think that's the same case with Maloney. And Maloney's actually a little bit bigger than Peck, I believe, at least listed as 6'2", so which is bigger than Peck.
So I have the information here, Chris. So
gotcha.
So last year against fastballs, 296 with a 548 slugging percentage, sliders 340 with a 787 slugging percentage, and changeups 320 average with a 440 slugging percentage. In 2026, 327, so he's hitting fastballs better. But sliders, 115 with a 308 slugging percentage, and changeups, 176 average, and 176 slugging. And so, that does give you a little pause for concern. But as Joe Doyle here pointed out, he has he does have a really good glove here. I'll show this play here.
Yeah. And just to hit home the point, he had a 306 BABIP last year, and it was 225 this year. So I don't know the exit velocity numbers.
Probably a little bit of pressing too. I mean,
hey, sounds like our buddy Mike Farron.
That's a good play right there. Ooh.
Yeah, the old jump throw, that'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he was one. I think, we were shocked to see they didn't take a left-handed bat or left-handed prep bat, but through those first 6 picks, it was still kind of what we'd expect to see, right? Couple shortstops, 3 shortstops, and some pitching.
Sorry.
That's good.
Okay, as you were saying, though.
Yeah, it was going to form, and that looks like a nice short swing, right? With some natural loft. And he looks like a fairly well-built guy, like All right, you could also say maybe he's like a right-handed version of Jack Penny, although probably a better shortstop. I don't know. But
It's a better comp than what I heard about the A-Rod comp yesterday. We heard.
wait, who had? Oh, yeah. But yeah, so it's nice to add another experienced middle infielder to the mix. They've done it every year, and keep doing it. What you got there? Is that a blizzard?
Yeah, no, that's a
Nice.
it's a peanut butter buster buffet.
Oh, that's outstanding. That's my go-to
Yeah.
as well.
The
Either that
best.
or like a vanilla cone dipped in cherry. I'm pretty lame like that. But
Hey, that actually sounds pretty good. But no, Tigers and Lions forever says 3 for 37 unacceptable from Torque. Speaking of first baseman, so the Tigers look like they addressed to that a little bit with the next pick in Brady Bollinger, a 6'2", 225. I believe he was a left-hitting first baseman at the University of Kansas. And interesting fact about the Kansas. So I was curious because it doesn't seem like Kansas gets the call very often from the Tigers. And so I look it up. I was like, okay, when was the last time the Tigers picked somebody from Kansas? So it goes back to 2006 with one of the coolest names. And we got a lot of John from Toledo, the scorer down in Toledo, liked this name too. Kodak Quick in the 33rd round in 2006, but he didn't sign. And then before that, though, former Phillies manager Rob Thompson in the 32nd round in 1985, and Daryl Monroe, an outfielder in the 9th round in 1994. That was it.
nice.
So, but as far as like what he can bring to the table, I mean, outside of outstanding mustache, he was a transfer out of Vegas. He was in a junior college in Vegas, and so I got the video about him. Go ahead.
Yeah, the JUCO College of Southern Nevada, which also is home to the likes of Bryce Harper and who else? Chasen Shreve, former Tiger great Chasen Shreve, and Phil Bickford. So yeah, it's a fairly prominent JUCO. But yeah, he came to Kansas and tore it up. His first year, 16 home runs, hit 360.
Yeah.
So really good production early on. And again, like I said with Maloney, this was a guy who came into the year with top 3 round expectations and just, hit 7 home runs and 283. Just not what you want from a first baseman. But you got to believe that it's still in there.
Yeah, I like what Joe said here too. Joe, friend of the show, very confused about Bollinger. Seems pretty far off from how this regime drafts, although it's a pretty solid microcosm of this draft. Absolutely. And when I saw the numbers too, I was like, I was kind of like from last year with the drop off of. But Toby Schulman from Just Baseball said he loved this pick quite a bit. And for those who want to see what he looks like in terms of what he swing looks like here, I'm going to pull it up here. So kind of an interesting setup of the swing too. Opposite field, Oppo, yeah.
Yeah, that leg kick and the kind of the holds the bat up above his head. That may take. Not sure if that'll work against the best pitching, but again, this is a guy who's got a lot of strength and he's got some basketball skills, and you trust your development team to get him to maximize it. Yeah, and we've seen Bo Ankeny is a big strapping first baseman. They took him like the 15th round last year, and he got off to kind of a rough start, and he's turned into like the Terminator down in low A. Yeah, that swing actually reminds me of somebody, but I don't know.
I want to say it kind of like an old school. It has an old school vibe to it. It kind of. I was thinking, no, not Will Clark, but no, never mind. All right, forget what I said. And then but in terms of like coverage at the plate and everything, I mean, he does. What he does do, at least, is he does walk. Has good coverage on the plate. So I can see why the Tigers did draft him, though. I mean, there's upside to it. It's just a matter of how they're going to harness it. And we talked about this yesterday a little bit, how the Tigers have been able to work on at least one aspect of is getting guys to start lifting the ball more, as you mentioned, Chris, with Perez yesterday, and overall. So they see something out of this, and what was interesting too is that I was thinking about this. Is it a byproduct of what they had the pool money too? You know what I mean? Like, is it a so? I don't know. I was just
I
kind of
think
curious
that
about
has to be part of the picking there. But they could have continued taking up the middle shortstop, second base types, and they found some of these big sluggers that they liked, or corner bats. Why I was getting Sean Casey vibes from his swing. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't. Sean Casey, I think, had his bat a little bit more upright, but yeah, probably not as much of a leg kick. But whatever.
I like this question from Anthony, by the way. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No. What's this coming out? The reason the Lombard fell, he was telling teams he only wanted to be drafted by Miami. That's the first I've heard that.
Yeah.
I thought the reason he fell was his alarming swing and miss rate on the showcase circuit. Basically, teams were not confident that he was going to make enough contact. To the same reason, like Justin LeBron was super scary, right? Like if Jacob Lombard hit, like if they felt like he was going to hit, he's the number one pick in the draft because he had the best other tools. Well, him and LeBron. Like if those guys were hitters, they were top 2 picks. So.
No, that Japanese player would have been cool too. Brandon. Yeah. Let me go put this.
Wataru Sasaki.
Go ahead, Chris. Let me go put this ice cream away. I realized it was a bad idea not to put it in the freezer real quick. I'll be right back.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I saw some people say they would have rather had Rintaro Suzuki than Ballinger, and he's more famous, right? But Suzuki is considered almost certainly just like a DH, right? He can't play defense anywhere, and he hit like 260 in college. To Ballinger is what 310 if you count his 2 seasons. But I think the Tigers just felt more confident in his hitting ability. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's a name, and we'll see what happens. The Marlins had an interesting draft. The Marlins love really like volatile profiles. I don't know if they love them, but they're willing to take those risks, right? A lot of the guys they took are super high risk, high reward, and that could be fun, especially when you have a draft. Like you dream on the upside of all these players, right? And you could argue that there's not necessarily as much upside with the Tigers draft this year with all these corner bats. All these corner bats. There's 3 of them, right? Like so. I mean, you can dream on Pellegrin, you can dream on the other guys, but it's more fun to dream on those Bryce Rayners of the world, right? You could argue that the Tigers went a little conservative this year, and but maybe they learned, right? Like we've been complaining, or at least pointing out, that all these high round high school pitchers they've taken the last 3 years, that's Paul Wilson, Owen Hall, Ethan Scheffelbein, Zach Swanson, River Hamilton. Who am I missing? I'm missing some other guys. None of them have worked out yet. And part of that's injury, and part of that's inconsistency. I guess Ryan Hall they took in the 5th round last year. And Trevor Heichman, I think they took in the 9th round. He pitched once in the preseason and then got hurt. So, they may have just been like, you know what, it's fun and you can dream on these high school picks, but it's not working out. So let's change gears here. And maybe they still take those high school guys, but they took them in rounds, was it 15, 16, and 20. So, but I don't have the clips available like Raj does. But I think that's about enough for Ballinger. But we can kind of go into Robert Amidi, who was a very interesting pick. Again, you go on for a left-handed bat, right back to back. But this is a high school kid from Canada who is a third baseman. He's not much of a. And when you're listed as a third baseman, you got to think of the future of possibly like corner outfield or first base. But everything I've seen says that the kid can hit. I didn't have a great MLB draft league the way that Pellegrin has, but that's kind of a small enough sample. And one of the questions I asked Rob Metzler and Mark Connor was, it was more of a leading question, really. I just was like, hey, do people think these Canadian kids are raw, but they end up facing pro teams all the time. They're playing year round. They're facing DSL teams. They're facing MLB draft teams. So Omidy's, just over 18, but he's probably more advanced than you would expect for a Canadian kid.
Yeah, I was gonna say the question that we are. Yes, as somebody pointed out, or Tiger Storm pointed out earlier, he was the first Canadian player success in Jacob Robson. But the upside, I mean, if you look at this kid, I'm going to show you like the video of this kid. He's a big kid, dude. Like he doesn't even look like a kid.
Yeah, I mean, just turned 18. So, I mean, yeah, you have to. Like I said, he's it's the third baseman right now. They say he's got the arm for it. But yeah, you kind of think down the road that maybe that's another first baseman, or maybe he's athletic enough to. You see, that's like a barrel chest, right?
Yeah, like huge. I mean, like this kid's 18. My God.
And it's a good looking swing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's. I don't know. It's like you don't go in there drafting for need, right? But if you were to look at the Tigers farm system, you'd say, well, they don't have a lot of. We've in our heads, we're like, okay, well, they can take all these middle infielders and move them around, but they don't necessarily have a lot of sluggers in the system, right? It's Ankeny, it's Briseño and Lorenzo Pacheco. Anybody after that? I mean, we've seen like Zach McDonald put up a lot of home runs, but he's not the slugger type, right? He's more like a, power speed. And so there's nothing wrong with adding some of those guys to the system, especially if they work out.
Yeah, especially a guy like this, like a third baseman type like this. I don't think the Tigers have really drafted anybody like this recently, I should say, as far as like third base corner types, and so that's what I like. That's what I like about this guy. The plate coverage too, just like I mentioned earlier, they all have the one thing in common is like the common theme is that they all of them like seem like they have all high barrel rates. And that's something that, as you just mentioned, Chris, the slugging aspect of it has been missing from this team. Where you look at Erie, for example, Erie is stealing bases out of necessity, right? Because this is a team that can't really generate a lot of offense from home runs. I mean, like Andrew Jenkins has power. Don't get me wrong. Like Peyton Graham has power, but it's not like raw slugging power. You know what I mean? Like it's not like this kind of corner position and outside of Pacheco, of course.
Yeah, I mean, and to be kind of mean or blunt about it, right, is that all the guys that they have playing first base in the minors are Ord guys. Like we've had Chris Myers kind of on our prospect list before, but this is his third or fourth year in Erie, which tells us that they just don't believe in him as a big league bat. The same thing with Jake Holton. Last year it was his third or fourth year in Erie. Jenkins is just kind of a guy moving around. Pennington has been a fun undrafted free agent. He's producing, but again, like you just have to hit so much to be a first base type. Yeah. And they don't have those type of players in the system. And some of these older guys are going to start moving on, and they need, it's nothing wrong with having some more prospects around the diamond. Contrary to that point, they don't take outfielders.
No.
We'll get to this. We'll get to Tyler West later, but I think this is 6 outfielders total in 4 drafts, which is just kind of stunning when you think about it. And that goes to show like all the undrafted free agents they've signed in the outfield over the last couple of years. Patrick Lee, Steven Rustich, Caleb Spur, Andrew Soika, all these other guys. Soika was kind of, a pro player that was released by another team, but you know what I mean? Like they're getting these guys from the scrap heap rather than drafting them for some reason.
Yeah, and maybe it's because they know full well that they can maybe even take some of these infielders and make them into outfielders. I'm not really sure.
No, that's the thing. It's like I've often thought that Jude Warwick is a second baseman, shortstop, but he could easily play center field. I would think eventually. And and you wrote an article a few months back, I think, about sort of the exciting young international outfielders they have.
Yeah,
you don't necessarily want to like not draft guys because of that, but if you feel confident in Jesus Pinto and Chris Rodriguez, and Christian Perez, and Anibal Salas and these guys, then maybe there's something there. Nick Dumanil, but But anyway, so Robert Amidi, interesting. And then I think Kenneth Ward and Jack Turner are probably going to be money savers. Whenever you see a college senior sign or get drafted, you assume that they're not going to get that much of a bonus. But you asked a question about Ward, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I thought based off his makeup, and by the way, he also pitched. He pitched in Edmonton too, which is he's been pitching all over.
That's
so. Yeah, I didn't realize that, but as far as like why, because the Tigers in terms of like guys like this kind Kind of reminds me of Dylan Smith a little bit.
No. Yeah, I mean, I mean,
not because
so,
of but go ahead. I'll explain what I said. Go ahead, Chris.
well, I mean, he's an enormous guy, right? Like I see listed at 6'6", 265. So, and that's a big dude, and he's got a big arm, I think, right? Where was he? He was going to Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
It was like
Oklahoma State Panhandle or something like that. Some really cool sounding school name. It was like Oklahoma State Panhandle. Like
But yeah, you see, this is a big, strong kid.
Yeah, or also they have listed Park University Gilbert too. Apparently.
Yeah, so that's what I saw. I was like, where is that? Arizona? Where is that?
Yeah.
But he's 24, so he's been around. And like I said, you're gonna try to save money with him, but it's probably a pure relief arm.
Yeah, 100%.
But they need those still, and if you like the guy and think he's interesting, go ahead and take him. And you see in the back, it's 95, 96 here. I think he's been up to 98 or 99.
Per his Instagram, he's been hit up to 100.
So there you go.
Yeah. No, it definitely has that kind of closer vibe to him a little bit. So we'll see. And also, I think he was I'm sorry, I was thinking of the 11th round pick. I'll get to that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I thought it was like Dylan Smith is because he's able to throw 4 or 5 pitches because he's a starter. And in terms of just be able to put him in relief like that, that's what I meant by that. They can make the easy transition. So if you look at the background here, Chris, 94 right there. If you look right there by the
yeah.
So
you see 95. I think maybe 96 back there, but it's like I said, they're probably going to give him $25,000. But that doesn't mean that he's not going to be a contributor and might find himself in the big leagues one day if they can squeeze out some more. Probably get some more control and get a solid above average secondary that you can count on. But nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, the next guy up, by the way, is someone by the name of Jack Turner from New Mexico State.
Jack Turner.
Detective, yeah, as I was going to say, it 100% sounds like an 80s detective. Yeah,
New Mexico's latest detective, Jack Turner.
Yeah.
There's been a murder in the Mojave. Where's the Mojave?
In the desert? Oh,
I don't know if the Mojave extends to New Mexico. Showing my lack of geographic knowledge. But anyway, he's another guy, like I said, another senior sign, although I think maybe he missed the year to injury. Is that right? Look it up. All these guys, you look them up and then it kind of blends together.
He worked out. He worked out of the bullpen in the draft league, so that is known.
Interesting. He was in Felician University in Lodi, New Jersey, Suffolk County Community College in Brentwood, New York, and then New Mexico State. He's from Smithtown, New York.
Smithtown, so upper state New York.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of video of him.
I mean so Trenton with the Trenton Thunder and the MLB. He was on 2 teams in the MLB Draft League this summer. That's interesting. With the Trenton Thunder, 11 innings, 17 strikeouts, 12 hits and 8 walks. Not ideal, but the 17 strikeouts jumps out at you. And 18 innings total. So there's must be something there. I will try to find. I've cut up Cameron Flukie. Oh, you got some stuff right there.
Yeah.
That's an interesting delivery for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like something like Jim Abbott would do, like just because I'm not saying he has one hand, but go ahead.
It's very compact short arm motion, very interesting. We think that they've used the draft league a fair amount to scout players, or at least they've drafted players like Jackson Strong. I think performed in the draft league, and a couple guys from last year. So.
And let's make something very clear. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just said a unique look.
Well, very unique look. Let me just say something very clear. Except for Jim Callis, no one did well in the mock drafts. Okay, so anybody out there that was trying to say that they had some sort of knowledge or anything, knock it off. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I think Callis had like 11. Right. I think Fangraphs had 7. I want to say I pointed out before our Discord points mock where we just try to get points by drafting players ahead of where they. Or getting them earlier than we want to get them later than they're actually picked. That's how you get points. We got 6 right just doing that. with no inside knowledge whatsoever. So that should be your baseline, right? If you don't know anything, you should get like 6 out of 40 right. So and nobody did that but Fangraphs and Callis.
Yeah. So this guy this guy right here is Will Adams, who is this is a guy who I think the Tigers really want to sign right away because he has also a dual personality because he can hit and he also can pitch. He was committed to LSU, so that's saying something as well because LSU can throw FU money at guys, they can throw money at people, and they already have to keep their guys. So, but this is him right here, and this is where I think do you think this is where they're going to put a lot of their money at, Chris?
Absolutely. I think he's going to get at least $500,000. Now, you take him in the 11th round because you can, $150,000 of that is free. But yeah, I could see him getting up to 750 maybe. But this is, I mean, by ranking according to MLB Pipeline, this is the fourth best player they drafted, just one spot behind Evan Dempsey, their second rounder or their competitive balance pick. Everything you read about him is it's just one of the best, purest left-handed swings in the draft, which is nice to see. And again, he's a first baseman outfielder, depending on how much bigger he gets. But a pure swing and some chance for above average power. An advanced idea of the strike zone.
Let's see if we got some. I do have some of his swing here, so let me go back out here for a second and find the swing. Yeah, there's his swing right here. He does have a really nice swing. Good finish. Did really well with the wooden bats as well.
Wonder. All right. I want to see where Baseball America had him ranked in terms of the guys the Tigers picked.
So it'll be interesting where the Tigers will put him. Will they put him on the mound? Will they have him?
Oh, I mean, they drafted him as a first baseman. I don't think they're going to have him pitch.
Okay.
He's got a decent arm, but it was like up to 90, 91. And it was one of those things where there was some talk about him, not knowing what he was going to be heading into this year, but it kind of became obvious that he's going to be a hitter.
Yeah. Same thing. He has also an interesting delivery for lefty too.
Yeah. It's he's not like a super projectable, right? He's already a fairly large kid.
Yeah.
But you can see him getting bigger and stronger, just like everybody does between 18 and 23. And with if you got the hit tool foundation, getting bigger and stronger is that's a nice place to be. So, yeah, I mean, he could end up being a really nice pick for them. And again, it kind of marks a departure from in the past drafts. They were using this money on pitchers, going over slot in the 11 to 20. They took a couple hitters too, Jubal O'Rourke, Meridian LeFew, and things like that. But they weren't doing the big bonus amounts on hitters, and so they gave it a shot this time. We'll see what happens.
Speaking of that, by the way, that kind of leads into the next guy. I mean, the Tigers drafted at pick number 12 in the 12th round, Tyler West out of Salt Lake City Community College, which I did not know Salt Lake City had a community college until today. And this is probably the first time the Tigers ever drafted somebody from Salt Lake City, I'm assuming.
Well, we can look it up.
Yeah. I bet you, okay, you know what? I'll bet you a Coke Zero that you have not.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Is Danny Ainge from Salt Lake City?
He went to BYU though.
Oh yeah, but then they didn't draft him either, did they?
No, Toronto did. The Blue Jays did.
Yeah, but the Orgs, pick it up. But yeah, this is the lone JUCO player they took, and again, not a JUCO pitcher, a JUCO hitter.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, he fits the profile of like a leadoff hitter, base stealing, slappy guy. I think he had 3 home runs and
so a Cleveland Guardian.
A little bit, or a little bit more like some of the. I'm trying to like think. A little bit more like some of the outfielders that they took late in the Avila era, like a Robson or like a Danny Woodrow.
Oh yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, I like that. That's a good call.
But yeah, I mean, I think this is only the second or third JUCO hitter they've taken. They took Brady Serkonik, the catcher, 3 or 4 years ago, and then I want to say they took did they take another catcher, or maybe it was just Serkonik? I don't know.
I think there might have been one more catcher on that draft.
Yeah. Like Gabriel Rosado or Let's see. All right. So from Salt Lake City, we've got. Oh, here we go. Oh, Micah Ashman.
Was it from Salt Lake City Community College?
No. I thought you meant from the city itself.
Okay. No. Like, I meant like community college. That's what I meant.
All right. Salt Lake City Community College. The Twins have taken a player from there before. Okay. 2 players from there. Sorry.
That's okay. No, the next guy up, by the way, is Jet Johnson, and he was drafted in the 13th round pick, number 396. By the way, Kevin, yeah, I agree with you on that. Nice to see him get some bats to help him on the road. Absolutely. Power bats, too, more or less. The corner profiles this year were the strongest I've seen it under this regime. Jet Johnson, it was funny because when I was doing draft cards all day, he got the biggest pop, and I was like, wait, why? And I'm like, oh, wait, that's right, Auburn. War Eagle. Yeah, War Eagle. That's right, that's Auburn. War Eagle. Right? War Eagle. Yep. By the way, I love the numbers on their jerseys on this. This was the coolest, like, I'm going to show this here in a second. The way, I don't like, I noticed it right away, how cool the number looks here on the back of their jerseys. It has a Padres vibe to it, old school Padres vibe to it, but Johnson, 93, 95, his velocity was increasing a little bit. And I also think he has some reliever. I think he's had some, definitely, I think he is a reliever, isn't he?
Yeah, he's only been a reliever. Yeah. It looks like he's made 3 starts, and both of them were in Summer League.
Yeah.
He started at Texas A&M, only pitched 2 games there, and then the last 2 years were in Auburn, where he's thrown 26 times. You know, it's a pretty light workload. What do they say? 35 innings, and I think he worked out with Tread. The Tread athletes had a thread on Twitter, or Tread Athletics, or whatever it is. You know, the pitching lab, because he was a 2-way player. He was focusing on hitting a fair amount, so he hasn't pitched a lot, and there may be more meat on that bone. But I do think, you know, he's been a reliever. There's a little bit of like violence in the head when he delivers, but I wonder if they might give him a try, a little bit at least, to starting.
I don't know. And by the way, Tread Athletics, you should follow them on Twitter. That's a very, very good account. They do a lot of great work. One day I'd like to take a tour of the facility. That'd be cool. That'd be a cool road trip, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
To do something like that. But this is video I always wanted to see, the high speed stuff, or when it slows it down like that. And he in a way.
Yeah, there's a whole YouTube video about his day there.
Yeah.
11-minute long video about Jet Johnston at Tread.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But I like this pick quite a bit. This is also a guy that can instantly go to West Michigan. Instantly. I think he could be in West Michigan tomorrow.
Yeah, I think he will pitch. He will likely pitch this year. We'll see.
Yeah, the Tigers were non-committal about that too a little bit.
But just based on what they've done in the past, this is a guy that, like I said, he threw 24 innings this year.
Yeah.
If he's been staying ready, then you can get him heated up, and he could pitch in Lakeland, certainly in down the stretch, and then maybe up at West Michigan for sure.
And they're going to have, so they did mention that they're going to have like AJ Hinch mentioned this earlier in the press conference, that they're going to have like a draft camp coming up next week or the week after that. So it'll be just around the corner. He throws a sweeper, cutter, and a changeup. So I mentioned that real quick. Kevin's question, I do want to answer that. Why did Derek Hill never pan out in Detroit? You always seem to hit well in the minors. What kept him from getting a real look in Detroit? You know, Kevin, I think he did get a look. It's not that he was always injured, though. I mean, he was injured in the minors. He was always, and I don't think he was hitting the kind of power that Detroit wanted him to. They gave him every opportunity. It's just, I like to think that I mean, if you look now, I mean, he's gotten stronger and everything, but I think it was the injuries that really kind of played a part in his career.
Yeah, and this weekend notwithstanding, and what he's been doing at Philly, he's not a great big league player. Like he doesn't walk, he strikes out too much. There's not enough power to justify that. And despite all his speed and what you saw, that incredible diving catch, he's never graded out well on defense at the major league level until like the last 2 years. So I mean, he does feel like a pretty solid 4th outfielder or 5th outfielder, and particularly if you want somebody to face lefties. But yeah, I mean, the injuries certainly piled up. He could never stay healthy for that long, and even all the way up to the big leagues. Right? Remember that horrible collision with Akil Baddoo?
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, I forgot
but
about that.
I'm glad that he's getting some more playing time. He was a fun player to watch, but yeah, just kind of a tweener, I guess I would say, if that makes sense. Like this is the first year in his entire career he's had a WRC plus above 93. And he's never had more than 170 plate appearances in any big league season. He's a 30-year-old now, so just kind of a replacement level player.
So as far as that goes, too, I mean, Philly needed a guy like that, anyways, and he's a guy that can come off your bench, and he's a good bench player. There's nothing wrong with that.
He's somebody else's Josh Outman or James Outman. I always say Josh Outman, James Outman.
But the next guy up is lefty Edwin
Alisea,
who, by the way, I got some crap because I put University of Central Florida, South Florida. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, well, it's a very interesting one because Ashley actually wrote up a scouting report on him earlier in the year, right?
Yeah.
Just doing her scout school type stuff. So, and she put that on Twitter. If you have Twitter, you should check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, a big-bodied lefty, another kind of pure reliever, but an interesting lefty reliever arm, and they need those in the system. They honestly don't. Have any. And if it's a fastball slider, if they both work, and maybe you can get them up to the big leagues. Who knows? I don't think it when Micah Ashman was drafted, I don't know if everybody thought that he was going to be an elite minor league reliever, but he has been.
I love lefties, as you know. So I wasn't familiar with him whatsoever until Tigers drafted him. But yeah, his family. There was posting in Discord when he was sitting with his family when he got the announcement he got picked. Maybe they realized they missed Ashman. I mean, what I like about his delivery is like it comes out explosive last minute, so you could definitely see him as a very.
But 2 years at Nova Southeastern, which is a big JUCO down in Florida, and he's been pitching in the Cape Cod League. So I don't know. Maybe there's more to unlock under the hood there. He's a big kid. Maybe you can get him throwing even harder.
Yeah. Oh, that would be incredible to have something like that in your back of your bullpen, or however they see fit to use him. So then we go to the 15th round. So the 15th to the 20th is where I think the Tigers are kind of actually, I'm sorry. There's Michael Lane and Drake Meeks, which we'll get to in a second. But Dustin Dunwoody is a high schooler right-hander out of Royal High School in California. This is where they try to. You would know this better than I would. Do you think this is where they're trying to get their play at, as far as like trying to use extra money for this?
I don't think they're going to sign this kid.
Okay.
It would be awesome if they do. He's not like a super highly ranked on MLB Pipeline, and I want to see like where did he was on Baseball America's top 500, but I think he's committed to USC.
Yeah.
And so it's possible that they can sign him for like $250 or something like that, but I don't think, just based on like sort of the back of the napkin pool math that I was doing with the previous rounds, unless they saved a ton of money up top somewhere, I don't think they can afford to get this guy and the 3 high school bats they took.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, certainly an interesting projectable high school pitcher, a lot like a lot of the guys they've taken in the previous years. I think he's been up to 95, and still room to add muscle and velocity.
Yeah, they definitely has some tailing action to his stuff too. A lot of his stuff that moves around. So yeah, this is the 15th round. Let's move pretty quickly through these last couple rounds. Michael Lane out of Delaware State, continuing their trend in the Northeast, and he is a right-handed pitcher. Is that the same school that uses the Michigan logo, like the?
I think that's just Delaware.
Okay, but are these the Blue Hen folks?
I think so. I'm not. Yeah, it's it is easy to get them mixed up, but yeah, he's interesting. Just a straight Delaware kid, spent 3 years at Delaware State. Starter in all of them, and this is one of those things where you look at his stats this year, a 7.12 ERA. It's 73 innings. He had a 2.52 ERA last year in half a year. In 7 starts. And then, that monster ERA this year. But almost 11 strikeouts per 9. And it's an interesting look, another interesting look at a guy. And, they must see something they like or they can work with.
Yeah, fastball gets up to 95.
Looks like he really gets low and down the mound. It could be another like super low release height guy that they think they can maximize. But yeah, it's always fascinating to see guys like this, and we'll talk about them in 2 picks. But people who don't necessarily put up these gaudy stats, but so it looks like a guy who gets down the mound really well, and then
with the way his hands come up too.
Yeah, that feels very old school, like 1970s.
Almost like you put your hands up the sky. By the way, I was totally wrong. It's the Hornets.
The Delaware State?
Yeah, Delaware State.
So Delaware is the Blue Hens?
Yeah, Delaware's the Blue Hens. Hornets is a pretty sweet name, though.
Yeah. Can't make that.
Yeah. So
actually, the Blue Hens are a real bird.
Is it really? It's a real bird? Oh, okay. Next guy is Jack Byers. Jack Byers
okay.
Out of New Mexico.
Yeah.
Is this another one of those where?
Yeah, I don't. He's a fun pick, and if they do sign him, it's very exciting. He's another like a legit 3-sport athlete, I think, in high school. So you wonder how much better he can get if he just focuses solely on baseball. And it's an athletic mover with, the foundation for a bunch of good pitches. And you see really free and easy delivery and room to grow. I think he's 6'3", but he's committed to Arizona State, I think. Do I have that right?
That seems. Let me see.
No, Arizona, committed to play for Arizona. That's another one that I find it hard to believe that they're going to be able to offer these kids enough money to keep them from playing at these larger universities in what was the Pac-12. I guess, where's Arizona now?
I think they're Big 12. I think they're Big 12 or maybe. Actually, I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. I thought that Arizona. They didn't go Big 10. No, they didn't go Big 10, did they? No.
I mean, USC did, but no, if they sign him, it'll be awesome, and we'll talk about him, and he'll probably be one of the top 50 prospects in the system. But you may be better off just moving on, like you said, because it's I don't know if they'll get him.
So the next one is not Travis Meeks from Trading Places. Drake Meeks, who was entering the transfer portal. He's out of the University of Southern Mississippi. Fastball 95-97, touch 98. Slider, he's got a sweeper and a change. And so that's the same school that Brett Favre went to.
I believe so. Yeah, this one is another fascinating one, right? Because he's in the Cape Cod League, but this is a guy who has all of 21 innings pitched in college. He was at Southern Miss as a freshman, threw 1 inning, gave up 6 earned runs. He got hurt, so missed all of his sophomore year. Came back this year to Southern Miss, threw 5.2 innings. So 7 innings in college, in which he gave up 15 hits and 11 earned runs. But you see the arm talent, the fastball you mentioned, the pitches he has. So the Tigers are just getting a late round guy with some potential here that they can, 0 miles on his arm, right? He's been injured, but they can mold this guy in any way they want. And to me, he's one of the more fascinating picks from today because of the lack of track record and pretty good size, right? 6'4", 215.
Yeah, that's good size. Yeah.
Sign me up. Let's see what this kid can do.
Yeah, and look, and what I like about this too is it is I don't want to say a stretch, but I like the Tigers' line of thinking here. They can work with this, and they can be able to even with the lack of track record. It doesn't matter. There's one thing about this regime, and let me clear up something too, because people think we've been giving crap to Al Avila. I have no problem with Al Avila whatsoever. Al Avila drafted a lot of the talent that's in here now. The Tigers
Mm-hmm.
have took it to a different level under Garco and the rest of the staff. We will always praise Al Avila for being a great talent evaluator. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. That being said, do you think under his regime they would have done stuff like this, taken like flyers on these guys and done like the JUCO route, or as far as like outfielders go, getting guys from the Indian League? The Tigers have done. They will. It seems like the Tigers will go under every rock in the face of the planet to get what they need right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the default for the previous regime was just to, when you need somebody, go find somebody who was a college performer, right? Not a guy who barely pitched at all. And his 18th round pick, maybe you can't fix him. Maybe it goes sideways. He never really sees the light of day. But, you have that small chance where this is a guy who, had he been able to throw another 60, 80, 100 innings, started looking like a top 10 round pick or a top 5 round pick even, right? Like, so you're just taking your chance on what you think you see with the pure arm talent and hope your development staff can maximize it. So yeah, I mean, it's a fun pick for me, but like I said, I'm not expecting the 18th rounder to come and be a big leaguer. It just, it's a nice little ball of clay there to play with.
So the next guy, by the way, is a gentleman by the Cade Rush. And his father was a big league pitcher, and his dad is Glendon Rush, who's in the Angels system right now as a minor league coach. I have no Chris, do you have any idea where this school is? It's
Bellarmine? I think it's Kentucky.
Yeah. I've never heard of that school in my life. Never heard of it.
I feel like they took somebody from Bellarmine not that long ago, but maybe I'm mistaken.
And I like what you say here. My name is Sook. If you pick a bunch of them, a couple will stick is the way I see it. Yeah, absolutely.
Brandon Fott, Todd Willemeyer, Brad Pennington are all Bellarmine. Brandon Fott.
Really? Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hang on one quick second here.
Yeah, don't see any other no Tigers from Bellarmine, at least I can see. But a 19th rounder, Glendon Rush. Glendon Rush, I feel like Glendon Rush gave up a very famous home run, but maybe I'm mistaken. Let's see. Maybe it was Mark McGuire's 70th. Let's see. Oh, he hit 3 home runs.
Sarah says hey, by the way.
Hi, Sarah.
Let's see here. Oh, here it is. I got some video pulled up for him here. Kind of see.
There's the payoff pitch and a swing and a miss.
Kind of reminds me of David Robertson.
By Clark after going ahead 0-2.
Does it remind me of David Robertson, the former Yankee reliever? A little bit. Nah.
Boy, I don't really know his. It is.
No, as far as like Bill as far as like Bill goes. I'm sorry.
But he's a guy that started like a Indiana NAIA school. 2.16 ERA at Bellarmine this year, 33 innings, pure reliever.
Might do it. Second base.
Yeah, I don't know. It just a righty reliever with a. They must like something about his arm slot, and he seems to kind of stay tall through his delivery, which is a little bit different than what they're going through. But who knows?
And then the last 20th round draft pick, 17-year-old out of Alabama, I believe.
Out of Canada.
I'm sorry, Alberta. Alberta. I got my abbreviations mixed up. Will
Linsky,
which is what isn't that? I was thinking of Tommy
Ray Zielinski.
Was
Favor to flavor.
Yeah.
Will Zielinski. And now this is another one, interesting one. High schoolish pitcher. I mean, he is a high school pitcher. He's from Canada, but very, very young for the class. I don't know where
he's in the draft league. According to Tigers Turmoil, he's committed to UC Santa Barbara.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I mean, that's another pretty good pitching school for sure, right? Like they produce. I think that's where Jackson Flora went, right?
Yep. And look again. Look at this same delivery. We just saw somebody earlier with a kind of delivery like this, with the hand up like this and rock back.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's kind of a shot, but UCSB. Again, it'd be awesome to get him signed. a lot of fun to dream on. A kid this size, that age, already showing some interesting traits, but
6'3", 190, yeah.
it's hard for me to picture them being able to sign any of these high school guys, or let alone all of them. But who knows? And if they do, again, we can come back and talk a bunch about them, because they are, they're pretty exciting prospects. But again, we've seen all these high school pitchers have been exciting, and they've been various levels of disappointing so far. So we'll see what happens.
So a lot of props to the Tigers draft team too, as well. They did a really good job. I know that somebody was mentioning how many guys they drafted through certain scouting circles, but as far as like guys they scouted, but the fact that they're able to, they have a lot of relationship with these kids, and they work their asses off to do it. So like, I know we have some of the draft folks, the scout guys follow us, and so kudos to them. They do a lot of legwork. We're sitting there, just talking out of our asses, and and commentating and bringing it to you the best way we can. But again, I cannot stress enough, no one got the mock drafts right. Forever, who people were talking to or anything like that, that's why I don't like saying it. Like when people I can make my best guess. Like I like Fluky a lot, and I said it before it happened, but that's just about what I see. It's what I see, and then when people tell me, great. But at the same time, it's such a everybody covers the draft, like props, major props. People who write about it, who still go out to all the games, and go out there and see all this stuff. Seriously, it's a lot of work. And and like you can see, I mean, Mark Connor, we have both videos, day 1 and day 2. Of course, somebody was joking around, oh, you guys look fine, but look, that's a long ass day. They were at the across the way in I thought they were in Philadelphia, Little Caesars headquarters. Yeah. And I was talking to Colin, the manager of the Tigers PR department, and I was like, that background looked like they were in a bank.
Yeah, they were definitely behind bars in some capacity. I don't know what the deal was there, but I mean, yeah, no, and they made sure to give credit to the area scouts and the regional guys and the cross checkers and everybody else that goes into this. And it is kind of funny, not funny. It feels dumb that we could be like, hey, we like this guy, and then we get credit. We're like, hey, you guys were the first ones on it. We're like, we didn't sign him. Yeah. We saw him and we liked it. Like, we didn't sign him. We didn't make him good. So give those scouts credit. And, now it's time for them to celebrate for 15 minutes. And then now you got to go look at next year's class, even though they probably already have been, right? Like, that was one of the interesting comments from those guys, Connor and Metzler, was that they would love to have the draft as early as possible rather than in mid-July, because the next year's cycle, they're already, like, PG National and stuff has already happened. So next year's class, all the scouting for that has already been going on. And there's more summer events, of course, but, like, it'd be nice to get the draft done before that. But whatever. Yeah, baseball.
Rob Manfred has made Manfield, whatever I should say his name. He's made some really fucking weird decisions. I'm sorry to swear like that, but the draft, like, you don't think that. Why are you doing this to development to save money for these owners? Like, I don't know. Some of the things, like I said this weekend, I've seen the tearing down the stage. It's kind of like, look, criticize us all I want. We're not in Philly, so I don't care. I'll say what I want to say and speak my mind. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But good Lord, man, like, how the hell do you screw? Like, people they're talking on the mic and you hear the construction noise, like things in the background. That was a bad example of that, but I don't know.
I guess one thing, we did all this preparation and reading about this draft. I don't know if there's anybody, like, I haven't prepared like other teams' drafts that I like, but I'm just going through the tracker. I don't know if there's anybody, if you want to do that, just so while we have these players' names in our head before we lose them forever. Yeah. If you want to go through and see anybody whose draft you like. I unfortunately I do like the White Sox draft. It helps when you have the first overall pick and you have a bunch of money. But Chalowski, Landon Tomey, Cole Prosek is one of the best hitters in the class. Alex Weingartner is this huge boomer bust guy who kind of blew up around the Super 60 this year because he put up like a 6.19 60-yard dash, and I don't know, he's an interesting one.
I hate this. I was gonna say I hate to say this, but like I like the Cardinals draft quite a bit. Trevor Condon, pick number 13. I like I like D. Kennedy too. I was a big fan of D. Kennedy, the shortstop out of Kansas State, and Cal Randall, who they got in the 5th round too. They got a lot of value where they're like they did a really good job of mixing their high school and college guys. And I know you're a big fan of Rocco Maniscalco.
He was very exciting at the combine. I'm not sure if he's going to hit, which kind of lessens that. But yeah, I mean, it's a fun gamble there. And I was thinking, I like, there was a guy that the Rockies took that I liked, but I'm looking. I think I like the Nationals draft quite a bit. First of all, they took the shortstop Luke Williams from Pennsylvania that I kind of loved. Super athlete, power speed. And then later on, they took another shortstop that I liked very early in the process out of Georgia. And I don't know if they'll sign him. His name's Isaiah Gallison. He's a right-handed hitting shortstop that I just liked the way his swing looked. But they also added, Cashel Duggar, a catcher from UCLA that I thought might have fit the Tigers. Tigers didn't take a catcher this year. And just some more interesting players. But, whenever we, I saw some people grading every team's draft already, and I'm like, what's the point of this? I mean, I guess if you do all the work to prepare and know all these players, then go ahead, give them a grade, but it's going to look silly in 6 months.
And of course, Tampa had the Rays. Yeah. Tampa Bay had a really good draft too, as far as just on the surface. Kyle Johnson, that pitcher out of Virginia, Ben Blair, they really, as far as just going Ty Marchand to the shortstop,
another guy top of Brady Emerson.
Yeah. It's an embarrassment of riches. Michael, how did we do overall? How the Tigers do? Look, I think Tigers did a solid job. I mean, really, as far as addressing the Tigers will never admit this, but they addressed a lot of needs in this draft. They really did. I mean, in terms of pitchers, the amount of pitchers, they picked 13 pitchers, and they really were able to, they're going to backfill a lot of the spots immediately with this draft. And so as far as pitchers go, Pellegrini, I like a lot. The other one I did like quite a bit. I'm going to be a big fan of this guy too, is the Robert Amati kid out of Canada. And lastly, Will Adams. I think he's a big sterling kid, and I think he's going to be a slugger. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, no, I think, my immediate reaction is that this draft, there's not as much sort of super upside as you might like, but there's, I don't know, like Raj said, they're filling needs, but it's also just kind of like a workman-like draft, and not a Gage workman-like draft, but a draft that you're getting a bunch of solid players to add to the system and guys you can develop, and it's certainly going to help the depth of the system. And if Cameron Flukie works out, then you did well. And I get a mild, and people aren't gonna like this, but I get a mild Alex Fido feeling from him. Whereas I think it maybe Alex Fido's career would have gone completely different had he been with the current regime longer.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to need to get a pitch to help him retire lefties at a higher clip, and figure out some way to get some horizontal movement. But yeah, I mean, I think that they took a lot of quality players, and they're going to get some big leaguers out of this draft, and that's what the whole point is.
Yeah, and another guy too, real quick before I forget, Evan Dempsey too. I like a lot of the guys too are really competitive guys. We haven't really talked about Tyson LeBlanc. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, and you can find it on our YouTube channel. But a lot of just LeBlanc's high motor. I mean, the guy was a big power guy too, and he's a complete athlete. And I mentioned those cliches, but overall, just the amount of it follows their philosophy. And so I think the Tigers have been able to. I'm satisfied with the sense of them trying to, in terms of Flukie becomes a top 5, immediately comes on our top 10 prospect list. I mean, without question. And you can make a case too for LeBlanc coming in the top 20. I mean, I really think
they probably added 4 or 5 guys that are going to be in the top 20. Once they sign everybody. I've cut up actually it was Flukie's last start of this year against Florida State, and his last start of last year against LSU. And he looked better last year. He was throwing harder. The breaking ball stuff looked a little sharper. And that's not terribly unsurprising. He missed a lot of time this year with injury. And then I'm almost done cutting up Evan Dempsey's final start of the year, and he's really fun. And I feel like if they can, it feels like there's stuff to maximize with his delivery to get more velocity, and he can really spin the ball, and he spins it frequently. And so he's another guy that maybe you need to develop that changeup. But yeah, I think there's a pretty high ceiling with both those guys.
Yeah. And once again, I give a lot of shout out to Ashley, Brandon, Nick, Gordon, B. Foster. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Scott Bentley. Scott Bentley, by the way, Salted there, great guy. Coming on yesterday to share their thoughts about the draft. It was a very smooth process. But extra hand, if you have not checked out the article Underneath the Hood by Ashley here on our website, go check it out. She's done a really good job. She's also going to be doing some day 2 stuff as well. Colin, shout out to Colin. Colin's also going to be doing some stuff, and I'll be recapping some items as well in the next couple days. So we got you covered. If you go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, like and subscribe. I don't do that enough because I feel like a broken record or like robotic, but I always assume that people know that too, but I can't assume everything. But like and subscribe. We really appreciate this channel or Motor City Metrics channel, and check out our Patreon too, where we're able to put some more draft stuff behind there as well. Tomorrow, live All-Star Break Show. Brandon and I, Chris, will be live here at 9 o'clock talking Tigers, and definitely could see. There's a question from Noah real quick before we get out of here. Could we see Fluky in West Michigan this year? I don't.
That feels more like an Avila era move.
Yeah.
I don't think I wouldn't say it's 100% not going to happen. But I would think that we might see him just based on what we've seen from college pitchers in the past. And it's usually only a handful of them make it to pro debuts the year they're drafted. Now, I'm thinking maybe like 10, 12 innings in Lakeland at the most.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, they could surprise. They surprised us in this draft. They could surprise us based off, depending on what they want to do here. I mean, he will definitely. I think he will see some time in Lakeland, but it's just a matter of also the Tigers have to see what they have with some of these arms and do the health checks and all that stuff. So once they're signed, we'll start speculating for sure. But again, thank you so much for checking us out all weekend long, and we're back tomorrow. Like I said, 9 o'clock. We'll talk a little more draft with Brandon Day. We'll get his thoughts on day 2 as well. Until then, keep it classy, everybody. Have yourself a good evening.